North Carolina vinyl picker. I'm heading to Johnson City. Woo, going to Tennessee this morning. Yeah, got a pocket full of money. So we're going to go see what we can find up there in the mountains and at the record show. So stay tuned to the channel because it's going to be a barn burner, buddy. A barn burner. North Carolina vinyl picker up here on Brown Mountain, elevation 2725. 2760 here. Absolutely gorgeous morning. Like I said earlier, I'm heading to Johnson City, Tennessee, to the record show this morning. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. Y'all want to stay tuned because in 2 or 3 weeks, I will be going up to Asheville and gonna do 10 record stores in one day. So stay tuned for that, for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show. Just want to give you a quick overlook here. It's a beautiful morning, Sunday morning, and we're gonna end this right here and add this to the show. Just absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful morning. Good morning. North Carolina Vinyl Picker here on a Monday morning. Yep, get my show out a little bit late today because I went to a record show yesterday in Johnson City, Tennessee. Oh, it was awesome. It was really good. There was some tables that didn't have anything on them, but it was a really good show. Couple hours from my house, so it was a little bit of a travel, but I had a nice time, and I'll be showing you what I picked up here in just a second. At the end of the show, I'm going to talk about the 5 CDs that I'd like to have on vinyl. Yeah, there's 5 of them that never had any vinyl on, and from 2 bands. So there you go. And hope everybody out there is having a good day. Support that military, buddy, because times they are a-changing, saying Bob Dylan song. So on eBay, this is what I got. eBay. See, I got little cards here to remind me where I buy this stuff from. This is really awesome. This is Justin Hayward and John Lodge, the Blue Jays. If anybody out there knows, they were members of the Moody Blues. So this is a 45. It's called Blue Guitar. And yeah, isn't that nice? Something I've wanted for a long time, and I found it on eBay. It was, I don't know, pennies on the dollar. It wasn't very expensive. Some guy was getting rid of it for like $2 or something. It cost more for the shipping than it did for the record. Then I found out that Days of Future Past, that the UK version is better than the American release as far as sound goes. Patrick was saying that to get the band's point of origin. So if a band was from the UK, those would be the best pressings, and also the quads and promos. So I'm right in step with him, and I understand he teaches me a lot. So I don't know if he watches my show or not, but Patrick, the Vinyl Archivist, or P Fall now, I guess PB Fall, that's what he goes by now. Days of Future Past. This right here is the Duram. This is from Holland, but I'm sure they used the UK stamper probably for this. And I saw one yesterday at the show, but I didn't pick it up. It was like $20. It's got the little thing up in the corner. It's looks a little bit different, but that's fine because mine has it on the back. See, it's got that little SD thing over here. So yeah, pretty cool. It sounds amazing, just like the quads do. They sound amazing too. And I got a pair of these on eBay, and they weren't very expensive. One's David Bowie, one's Emerson, Keith Emerson with the Nice before he joined ELP. And so these really sound good. This is really old stuff. This David Bowie is real old stuff. And this Keith Emerson and the Nice, it's always nice to have anything by them. So I can remember back when I was in high school. One of the very first albums I ever bought was Keith Emerson and the Nice. It was a double album. It was probably what it was a couple of their early albums put onto a combination thing, and then they re-released it. And then I found this one here on eBay. Bam! Look at that. Genesis' first album. A lot of people thought that this album came out, what was it, 67? Something like that. That it was a religious album, and they passed on it. So it didn't sell very well. And then they went on to record Trespass, which is one of my top 3 Genesis albums. I love Trespass. I love this one too. I love Peter Gabriel's innocent voice, his young voice on here. And Anthony Phillips is on here, as well as John Silver on drums. So this is before Hackett and Collins joined, 2 albums before. And then they recorded Trespass, and after that it was Nursery Crime, and they were off and running. But yeah, so if you love Genesis, this is from Genesis to Revelation. And I picked this up really cheap. You can tell this is it's a reissue, because the original one didn't have from Genesis to Revelation up here. They just had Genesis on here. So I guess that's why the crowd, the church crowd, got this confused. But yeah, so there you go, right up here, Genesis to Revelation on London Records. Okay, on the eBay, Far Out Records and Retro. I went down to Far Out Records and Retro down in Hickory. I had ordered the Steven Wilson new album, the Harmony Codex, from Amazon. And then they came back and said, oh, it's not going to be released till the end of October, 1st of November. It's not going to be sent to you. I'm like, what? So I've been streaming it for like a week because I couldn't wait any longer. And then there's been people in the VC that have been showing it. And so I just got, super pissed. And then I went and I called my record store down in Hickory, North Carolina, and asked them if they could get me a copy. So then he got me a copy of the Harmony Codex. This is in black vinyl, and I still have the orange vinyl coming in. But yeah, I think I might just cancel that one today. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that, so that way I can just go ahead and get something else. But yeah, Steven Wilson, the Harmony Codex. It's awesome. I've been a big fan of Steven Wilson going back to his Porcupine Tree days. And back then I was listening to the Signify album. That was the first thing I found. So there you go, Harmony Codex. And then while I was there, Far Out Records and Retro in Hickory, North Carolina. And if you're in that area, go check him out. He's downtown by the station. There's a nice restaurant there. It's an old railroad station that they converted into a restaurant and a tavern, and they have, all the drinks and stuff. And then across the street, there's a Hickory bar. There's another bar there. I think that's called the Tavern. And then the Far Out Records is real close, so you could have make a day out of it. There's a lot of shops for women to go and find some clothes and stuff like that, and shoes and all kinds of smelly stuff and candles. And there's just a lovely little place downtown there in Hickory. So if you get a chance, and on the weekend, I think on Saturday they have a fair where they sell different like soaps and all kinds of stuff out there. And so I found this, which is Rod Stewart in the Faces, Coast to Coast. I've always loved Rod Stewart, the early Rod Stewart stuff, and then with his stuff what he did with the Ronnie Wood and the Faces. That was really good stuff. I've never heard of Ooh La La or the other. I always had the one that one album, the live album. But yeah, there you go. This way. And then yesterday, I was going to go to the records show in Charlotte this coming weekend. It's on the 14th, and I think I'm still going to go. But I found out that the one up in Johnson City had different vendors. So I talked to Greg Neal, and he said to come on up, that we going to have some different vendors. And there was different vendors up there. And got some cool stuff. I found a guy came all the way down from Buffalo. He hits the circuit. I want to try to go to Clemens, North Carolina. That's about an hour and a half from me. And I heard that one has like 3 times or 4 times the number of tables, like 80 tables or something like that. That's crazy. That's like a convention. So I'm going to hit that up. That's next month. It's going to be in Clemens, North Carolina. So this Saturday, I'm going to be going down to Charlotte. I'm going to be going to the the record show down there that I go to every quarter. And but yesterday I was talking to a guy. He was from Buffalo, New York, and he told me that he comes down a couple times a year. He buys a lot of records, and then he does a lot of selling and stuff. But he was going home today. I think he was heading back, and so he comes around the area. But he had a nice big, huge bin of 45s with picture sleeves on them. And I was hoping there'd be a lot more that I could have picked up because he only wanted $1 a piece for these. So I found this one here, and I know somebody's going to be looking at this here and saying, wow, look at that. That's old Donald Fagen there, and that's IGY, and it's a 45 of off his album. So there you go. And then I found this one here, Supertramp, Free as a Bird. This was their last proper album. But I've never seen this 45 in the wild, that's for sure. And I remember having this album though. But they have a 45 of this. It's a U.S. press too. That's pretty cool. I love Supertramp. I made sure that the records were the ones that were inside of the sleeves. And then I seen this there. And this album I've been looking for a long time. This album came out during the CD era. So, you know, it was only released in the UK. It wasn't ever released in the United States. It was released in Canada too, because I got a text yesterday saying that somebody had a copy. Harry said he had a copy of it. I think it was Harry. And they really enjoyed this album. So, yeah, I was looking forward to getting this, but it had a little white speck on it. And so I put it through my Humming Guru. I think it's on the B side. Yeah. You see, it still has those 2 spots on there. If anybody out there knows how I can get rid of those. Someone said to use a magic eraser. So I don't know about that. But I put it through the Humming Guru. And then when it gets to that point where those little spots are, it plays through, but it has a little bit of a noise. So I've got some of it off with the Humming Guru, but and then I tried scrubbing it a little bit, and that didn't really do much. I had some liquid and a little sponge thing, but that didn't really work on it. So if anybody out there has any ideas, let me know. And then I found this one there for $5. This is Cat Stevens, early Cat Stevens. This is New Masters, it's called. And this came out in the 60s. And the cover's got some ring wear, as you could, expect. But the vinyl is really nice. And it was on my want list, so I had to pick it up. It was $5, and so that was a nice pickup. And then I seen this Gary Brooker album. Gary Brooker, of course, the lead singer and keyboard player for Procol Harum. This was really nice to get. This is Lead Me to the Water. George Harrison is on this album. Phil Collins is on this album. Eric Clapton is on this album. There's a whole bunch of people. Peter Menu is on here that I listened to. I don't know the rest of these people. But Gary Brooker on keyboards, and then, of course, he wrote all these songs. And this is going to sound really good. The guy that sold it to me, this was $5 too. I've never seen this in a while. I've never seen this album. I think I used to have this before. I think it was on a CD, but I just so long ago, I don't remember. And then I seen this one there. This was a pair that I picked up, and these were $4 a piece. Fred Simon. Fred Simon is a keyboardist too, I believe, and he does new age music. And I have one of his other albums, and then I'd never seen this album before, and there was like 6 copies of it for $4. So I picked one up. And then this one here was there. I don't know if anybody out there knows about this album. That's the Fire Merchants. Chester Thompson from Genesis Weather Report. He's on this. John, was it John Giblin or Percy? Oh, John Goodsall. John Goodsall on guitar. And Doug Lunn on here. John Goodsall from Brand X. He's on this album. This is an early fusion album. This is from the 80s. I believe it was 89. So it's pretty good fusion. And so there was like 8 copies there. I've never even seen one copy of this, let alone 8 of them. So I picked up one for $4. Why not, you know? So that was from a vendor that I had never seen before. But he had a lot of records there, but most of them I didn't care for. But I was glad to get the Fire Merchants and the Fred Simon. And this was probably the pick of the day. This is a white label promo of Whiter Shade of Pale. But it's the Whiter Shade of Pale reissue. See, the Brighter Shade of Pale came out in the 60s. And this promo came out in the early 70s. But the original Whiter Shade of Pale album, Procol Harum album, this one here is electronically reprocessed for stereo. So I guess they were doing analog way back then. But this is early 70s. And when this was reissued, I'd never seen this before. I think I have seen it in Discogs, or I've seen it, people talking about it, but I've never seen an actual copy. He only had, what did he have on this? $15. So I had to pick this up, being a big Procol Harum fan. So I'm looking forward to giving this a spin. And it was a white label promo. So that's pretty cool. Nobody, you know, the bands I've been listening to lately, like Rod Stewart, Cat Stevens, Procol Harum, you know, just to name a few, they're all in the bins. Nobody's picking those up. No one's listening to them people anymore, hardly. So these bands here, you can find some really good stuff right now. I shouldn't probably told you all that, because now you're going to be buying all my records. But I have a list of some stuff I'm looking for. So I'm looking forward to going on Saturday. I didn't take any footage of the show because there was so many people in there, and the room was so small that I had to walk around the room like 8 times. I got my laps in. I had to walk around the room like this to get a little nudge in, and I had to start looking at records, looking like this, looking on the side. There was a lot of people there, so I'm all boosted up and shot, so I shouldn't get sick. So that's a good thing. Everybody, have a good rest of your day. Enjoy those wonderful fall days. That was beautiful up there. I went up there, Roan Mountain, Tennessee, Johnson City. It's just gorgeous up there. I found some really good barbecue on the way back. So, yeah. I'm going to be making a video today. I'm going to be doing it here real quick. So, these are the 5. I'm going to go ahead. I've got 15 minutes in. I'm trying to wrap this thing up. These are the 5 albums that I would like to see on vinyl that are on CD. And they've never been released on vinyl as far as I know. 3 albums by the band Camel, which is a UK band. Rajas, A Nod and a Wink, and Harbor of Tears. I'd love to see those on vinyl. I don't have them on CD as well. But I don't want to go out and buy them on CD because I'm trying to get away from CDs. I'm trying to sell all my CDs. And speaking of selling, if you're interested, I have a store in Discogs. It's a Big Chief Vinyl 57. So go check me out if you want. And I have great prices. I have 100% on my selling and buying. So there's no issues. If you ever have an issue with anything I sell, please let me know. And I will get back to you on that and take care of it. But yeah, so there'll be a link down below. And you can just check down there and see. And then sub me up. Hit the bell, and then you'll know every time the North Carolina Vinyl Picker is on with a new show. This probably won't go up till tonight because I only got 25 meg here at the house. The other 2 albums are Red Rocks and Strange Times by the Moody Blues. Those aren't on vinyl as far as I know, and I'd like to get both of those. So there you go. Well, that's it I got for today. So I'm going to try to wrap this thing up in 17 minutes. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Support them troops out there because it's getting more and more important to do that. And everybody be good out there. We'll be talking to you soon, and unless I break in with some new news here from the command center here. We'll talk to you soon. North Carolina Vinyl Picker, what I always say.
So her name is Amy, and she is one of nature's strangest animals, what is known as a sloth. But in particular, let's move that just a little bit, there we go, a 2-toed sloth. It gets confusing, there's 2 types. There's a 2-toed and a 3-toed. You look at her front foot, she got 2 toes. Her back foot, she's got 3. How do you tell the difference? Only look at the front. 2-toed will have 2 in the front, 3 in the back. 3-toed, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. Everything they do in life is slow and upside down. I mean everything. Eat, drink, sleep, mate, give birth. Sometimes they'll die and they're still just clinging in this upside down position. All this slow movement, sleeping, and in the wild, and I've seen them in the wild, they're really hard to see. They'll have moss and algae that grows into their coats, turning the cutest, most adorable thing on the planet. Now, yeah, he's giving kisses. And by the way, they make a sound that is exactly like a guinea pig. I mean, you know, when they're full grown, they're basically just guinea pigs on steroids. No other way to kind of describe it. But what we're going to do, we're going to fast forward a little bit. This is a baby. How old is it?
This one's about 10 weeks old.
10 weeks old. We're going to fast forward about 8 years.